Welcome to my YouTube channel Math Sikshak. It is my constant endeavor to present a topic step by step and elaborate on its importance. Numbers are seen in all aspects of our universe and are used in different ways. In this presentation, number system, I will be highlighting on how to identify different sets of numbers. The objective of my presentation is to introduce you to different sets of numbers in the real number system. Every minute of our lives evolve around numbers. So what is a number system? It is a set of all numbers. I would consider it as a basket full of numbers. There are infinitely many numbers in this basket. So let me begin my presentation by introducing you to counting numbers. Natural numbers are also called as counting numbers. So what do we mean by counting numbers? Counting numbers are those numbers that are used for counting. Example, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So there are infinitely many natural numbers. Natural numbers are represented by letter N. Proceeding further on, let us understand what are whole numbers. Set of natural numbers together with 0 are called whole numbers. So I consider the set 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. They are all natural numbers or counting numbers. When I include 0 along with them, then this set of numbers are called whole numbers. It is denoted by letter W. Now let us try to understand the meaning of integers. Integers consists of counting numbers, its additive inverse and 0. So when we put the whole numbers and the negative numbers together, the new collection of numbers are called integers. It is represented by letter Z. Therefore, integers consists of positive counting numbers, negative counting numbers. It will never be a fraction and it will not be a decimal. So, now let me ask you a question. Is 3 by 4 an integer? No, because 3 by 4 can be represented in decimal. Its decimal value is 0.75. Therefore, set of example of integers are, these are my positive counting numbers and the negative of these counting numbers and 0. So this entire set gives the set of integers. Now let us try to understand what is a rational and an irrational number. So if I am able to express a number as a fraction, that is, I can write it as P divided by Q, where Q should not be equal to 0. Because when Q is equal to 0, then that term is undefined. For example, 3 by 0. This is not defined. Therefore, Q should never be equal to 0 and P and Q are integers. Then such type of numbers are called as rational numbers. And when we are unable to express it in that form, then those numbers are called as irrational numbers. Therefore, rational numbers can always be represented by letter Q. Rational numbers are fractions, they are decimals, and they are percent type of numbers. So is 0 a rational number? Yes, because we can express 0 as a fraction, that is p by q. So 0 by 1 is also equal to 0. So we are able to express it as a fraction p by q, and where q is not equal to 0. Therefore 0 can be considered as a rational number. Now let us see its representation. So what do we see here? Natural numbers are subsets of rational numbers. Whole numbers are subset of rational number. Integers are subsets of rational number. So what does this mean? All natural numbers are rational numbers. All whole numbers are rational numbers. All integers are rational numbers. So every integer can always be expressed as a fraction. Every whole number can be expressed as a fraction. Now what do I mean by this? I take an integer minus 3. So I can always write it as minus 3 by 1. So now let us try to analyze more on rational and irrational numbers. So when I consider a decimal, either the decimal is terminating or the decimal is non-terminating. Now what do I mean by this? When I divide a fraction, either its division comes to an end or its division doesn't come to an end. For example, when I divide 1 by 2, when I divide, I get it as 0.5. So the division comes to an end. It is a terminating decimal. I take the example of 1 by 3. It keeps moving on. The division never comes to an end. So it's a non-terminating decimal. I get it as 0.33333. It keeps happening. So even if it is non-terminating, either we can see that the decimal keeps repeating, like the example of 1 by 3. It is 0.33333. So the 3 is repeating again and again, or the decimal value will not repeat. For example, if I take the value of pi, it is 3.1415926 and it keeps happening. So I see the decimal is not repeating there. So then such type of numbers are called as non-repeating decimals. So when I take a decimal, either it is terminating or non-terminating. Non-terminating, again you can see that either it is a repeating decimal or a non-repeating decimal. A terminating decimal and a repeating decimal can be considered as rational number, whereas a non-repeating decimal is an irrational number. So now what is a real number? A real number is a combination of rational number and irrational number. So rational numbers and irrational numbers put together form a set of real numbers. So let me conclude my presentation by showing you a mind map of the entire number system. So the number system can be divided as real numbers and imaginary numbers, and real numbers can further be divided as rational numbers and irrational numbers. As we have seen before, rational numbers consists of all those different types: natural numbers, whole numbers, integers. So they are all rational numbers. For any suggestion, feedback or queries, you can always contact us at mathsikshak@gmail.com. Please subscribe the channel. Thank you.